It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. I fucking read something the other day. It's like, remember when fucking people were freaking out about Tide Pods and like nobody actually had any evidence that people were actually doing it? But it's like, guess which generation was the loudest and the most angry about it? The generation that fed their kids soap as a means of punishing them. So, yeah, no, they're totally the ones we should be listening to about fucking putting Tide Pods in our mouths. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? It's Mr. Natsume. He seems quite constipated. I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow. Nonsense! Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. He looks so proud of that. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we will arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise on Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1 Encore. Course correction. I hope I remember to put Ryunosuke in the new outfit.
Damn it!
From the mouth. Use of poison. Next to the victim. Bite of 1/2 of soap. The fork. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. Of course, that's not the point, but only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate the soap?
Shit, fuck that shit. You all stay fucking stuck over there.
The other piece of soap! Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspeare must have really loved the stuff. Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruto. Remember, the British are quite dirty and they refuse to wash their hands. Look closely at this soap. Do you see it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table? What the? How can that be? I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart. So he wasn't eating soap. What a shocking revelation. Ah, yes! What the hell is on your shoulder? Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruto, and one that furnishes us
thank God.
with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument, then. Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. Well, better coat the wall in an extra layer of lead and paint while I'm here. There are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? You know, hair. I know this is the, was it, oh god, do you think it was the teacup or the fork?
Probably the fork.
Oh god, I was thinking the teacup, because it's, what's the, claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate? Is there anything else I can do? Just while I'm here.
Can you lift up the bar of soap?
Contents of the plate, nah. I'll look at the teacup and stuff. A Western vessel for serving the infusions of dried tea leaves. Do we not have teacups? Yeah, I guess, no, they would have wooden cups, now that I think about it. Stop putting on airs, and it's empty. Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's
fuck
significant evidence to suggest he was drinking tea. My thoughts exactly. I think it is the teacup because, like, he doesn't have any food, so why would he put the fork in his mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, this is the first one of the game. This is only case 2, so it's probably still pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, that's exactly what I said. Cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. Even Cleopatra poisoned Antoinette? What? Wait, no, yeah, Mark Antony?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Poison in the tea.
Poison. Couscous poison.
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamsphere was having a drink of tea from this teacup. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues. I think... What is... the other tea... Oh, okay. That's probably it. Did the man dine and die alone? The other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. Urgh! In other words, there is a strong indication that the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. The banker from the last game! No, it was me. At the very least, we can say now with certainty, oh, that's right, I was dining with the victim last night. That somebody else was here in the room last night drinking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly unbelievable, unjustly unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in the room at the time of the victim's death? Not like it isn't super obvious. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap. But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a bad feeling about. Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Soap is poisonous. You cannot eat it, no matter how much you want to. So what
The pile of books. Because it would be the reason why we still have that note of what type of books he took home.
Yeah, hold on. I wonder what they are. Let's see, the titles read... Yeah, here we go. Wait a second. I'm sure I've heard those titles before. They're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Suzaki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right. Now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it. I do. I can't even... Oh, no. There's a candle. I don't think it's the broken lock. I think it's the... The broken lock is interesting, but not necessarily relevant. Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth. Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop. It's just a coincidence.
I would like to take this sword, because it looks cool.
In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. Of course I can't. Have you seen my room? It's a fucking clusterfuck. A fustercluck of books. Also, I think there may be a cat in there somewhere. That or I shit in my sleep. No, never. Non-negotiable. If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could have only brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Look at him go! Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. Blank. In short, there's only one possible conclusion.
You did it.
The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... Stop showing me up, Shobs. What is the little thing on his shoulder? Do you see that?
It's a mouse!
Is that a little mouse? Was you, Mr. Sosuke Natsume. God dang it! Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction. Officer, arrest this man immediately. Hooray! We once again put our fellow compatriot under scrutiny of the law. Herg! Herg! Not again! Not again! Not again! Not again! Well then, Mr. Natsume, it would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But wait! I just got here! Yes. Door! Key! Locked! Entry exit entirely impossible! He's so flustered.
How would he lock the door when he left?
Yeah. Well, you think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But, misery me! Sorry, sir, you'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. In court. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible airlock Holmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting. Locum student, Mr. Darhudo Esquire! I curse thy name for the remainder of my days! You gave me hope, and then you dashed it away from my very eyes! You have to help me! Why would he ask us specifically?
Because we helped him the last time.
But also, like, we made it so that, like, Mr. Sholmes was gonna get him off the hook, and then we corrected him. It's like, now we are the reason that he's getting arrested again.
And Holmes is gonna look like, you know I was doing that on purpose, right?
Oh god, that would be the reveal at the end of this game, that Sholmes was actually super competent the whole time. Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. One more thing! Yes? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me. So he did know that he had a cat in his room. I thought he was like, oh yeah, my flat's haunted. There are things that are moving in the middle of the night, and I keep hearing soft whispers. I
think we're the ones that told him, don't you have a cat? And he's like, oh yeah, I do.
I actually kind of want to look into the life of the actual Natsume Soseki to see if he actually was, like, wrought by a curse like this, because that's actually really funny. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you!
I think this is where he tells us that I was actually trying to help him.
Yeah. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can now examine the body and hide evidence to our pleasure.
The fuck is that?
What? Well, that's a woman, Kristen.
No, on my game.
Nope, that's still a woman.
You
what?
Bitch!
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspear. Ah, Mr. John Garadeb, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room at the top floor as usual. Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later then. Alright, well, I'll just investigate the body while we're here. Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was? I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life. Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul? Sorry? I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such an occasion as this, actually. Actually, not a bad idea, Susato. We do, since we're, you know, lawyers.
You bastard!
Do seem to be going into these situations a lot.
Gimme.
This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. What's the demand for this? A Japanese book about mourning the dead the British way? There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? One of my favorite jokes is actually about Harry Potter. I think, I can't remember the context, but I think it was like, oh god, Alan Rickman was talking about wanting to hit Rupert Grant over the head with a book, specifically the Order of the Phoenix book, which is the longest Harry Potter book. And someone else remarked, perhaps you should hit him with something lighter, like a refrigerator. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. Ryunosuke, you are a king.
You Prosecutor Lord.
Slay, king! A daimyo or such like. With a chonmeige top knot, every Japanese wishes he had a chonmeige. I am butchering these Japanese names, I just know it. Oh, you'd look wonderful with one, and you already have the sword. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmeige and a sword? Well, you'd certainly get looks. There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. And both of them are cracked. Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all. Prosecutor Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet. Yeah, go ahead and eat all that. I'll eat whatever you don't take care of. The window's completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay. What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had in a property. It's extraordinary. I'm surprised the British ever paid taxes at all, considering how many colonies they had. It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh! What is it, Miss Susato? If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose! It's not very bricked up, I suppose. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Oh yes, it looks as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shamspeare who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room. Look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a symbol of the Freemasons. Oh look, and it's a pair of glasses made by Benjamin Franklin. On the outside there's a little ledge, and there's something on it. What, outside? What's outside the window? Nah, that's probably not important. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind. It's a laundry machine! This is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. Ah, I see. Yes, now you've pointed it out. I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if I put a coin in here... That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. God damn it, that's fucking dismal. If you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold? Yeah. Or if you were scatterbrained with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. That's precisely the point, and I'm convinced, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. Thank goodness we live with a rich person who actually gets paid for his jobs. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall. Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas. But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there. Well, I must prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though? For the nightly Shakespeare... Wait, you can use that word? Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art.
Shakespeare's long dead.
Oh yeah, no, I understand, but it's like... It's a copyright thing, I'm just wondering. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office. What? Then you could practice your art every single day. I'll think about it. If you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge. Oh, Ryunosuke into that kinky shit. He's into roleplay. I don't know why you would want me to... Okay, well, if that would help you achieve your goal, she's into it too! This I have to see. Alright, I'll look at the bricks and then I think you should probably get going.
Oh, yeah.
Brr, it's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap. It did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly... Actually, what day is it? God, can I even go back far enough to the...
I don't think so.
No, definitely not. More importantly, what is it on the ledge out here? What are those snow-covered lumps?
Soap.
More bars of soap! Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up
He
on a
was
ledge?
selling soap.
I have no idea, but the pair of them look rather charming like that. It's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window. But perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all. Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look at here at this soap. Ah, it's an olive. There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain. Looks like the Hinomaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? Bar of soap. Alright. Love you. Thanks for joining us for Side by Side Plays. I'm Shikuquaza. Join us next time with more Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve.